Now to an exclusive interview with CGTN. President of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde, talked about the challenges that central banks worldwide are facing due to trade uncertainty. Lagarde also talked about the cooperation between the ECB and PBOC, as well as the broad relationship between China and the EU. Let's take a listen.
Well, when I look at the global economy, I see an economy that has sustained a series of incredible shocks. You know, we have short memory, but when we remember what we faced in the last 3 years, it's incredible. So from those successive and almost compounded shocks, eventually the global economy came out with a high degree of resilience, and this is particularly the case in Europe. And unfortunately, as we were going into this recovery mode, great uncertainty landed on our global economy as a result of the tariff threats and the announcements that were made and then withdrawn and paused and negotiated. And that has dampened global growth expectations. Our projections have been revised downwards. So have the projections of the IMF, the World Bank, the OECD, and most countries are affected. It's not a win-win situation. It's a lose-lose situation that we are looking at the moment. And it's aggravated by the level of uncertainty that is actually putting a hold, if you wish, on many investment projects, on many developments, because investors are not too sure what the future lays ahead.
Right. And of course, the impact of U.S. trade policies are front and center of many discussions. President Trump has delayed the planned 50% tariffs on EU imports. And China and the U.S. has just concluded the first round of talks in London. How do you assess the recent developments? And given how uncertain U.S. trade policy has been, so how is the ECB preparing for potential trade shocks?
The European Central Bank has one key mission, and it is stability. So in our mission, we have price stability, but we also know that there cannot be price stability without financial stability. So we are very focused, monitoring the potential risks, the uncertainty that abounds around the European economy, to anticipate any further consequences and be able to respond. But at this point in time, what I will say is that we have stabilized prices at the level that we were expecting. We are within range of our medium-term target, which is 2%. And we are in a good position to withstand future shocks. So we have to keep that stability as much as is required under the circumstances. And we stand ready for that because our objective is stability.
Right. So given all these pressures for central banks, may I ask how hard it is now for central banks to navigate the uncertain economic environment? And since you are here in China and you held extensive discussions with the People's Bank of China, how much coordination may be ongoing to manage these shared pressures?
I think all central banks in the world are currently facing the same issues. Because of the unprecedented shocks that we faced, because of the uncertainty that we have now, we really have to rely on multiple indicators, on a series of models, on sensitivity analysis, on scenario analysis, to try to anticipate what the activity will be in the world, where prices will be heading, where employment will go, to calibrate our monetary policy. And I think that all central banks face the same issue. Models in the traditional way do not have all the answers to those questions. So we have to use multiple antennas and indicators and instruments in order to assess the situation and the future situation of our economy. Now, with the PBOC, the Central Bank of China, we have a long-standing relationship, a good relationship. we cooperate, we work together, we look at the same issues, we have this deep understanding of issues. And that's one of the reasons I'm visiting China, is to continue to support and feed that excellent relationship that we have had.
And you came at a time when China and EU are celebrating their 50 years of anniversary of diplomatic relations. From your view, what are the most important lessons for this long-standing relationship, and what are the greatest opportunities for future cooperation?
You know, when I observe the last few decades, and particularly in a context of global relationship, open trade between countries, the progress that China has made, the progress that Europe has made, the benefits that both regions have had as a result of this international trade expansion, which was spectacular over the last few decades. I think that we have to persevere and we have to continue that global cooperation. It doesn't mean that we agree on everything. It doesn't mean that we open all doors without restrictions, because each of the regions, each of the countries is going to focus on its degree of security in terms of supply, in terms of general security. But we have to cooperate and we have to work together and try to make the best of that cooperation in the interest of all parties.